Good morning. Hello. How's it going? Pouring out my butcha, lighting my palo while y'all are joining. Good morning. My palo doesn't want to light today. Come on. This is how you know it's real palo. The sucker doesn't want to light. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Good morning. Sorry. Grand Rising, Lisa. See, I'm doing it already. Rise and shine, everyone. Rise and shine. Hello, hello. Rise and shine, everyone. I'm already catching myself doing it. Rah, where's that shot collar? Hello, hello. Rise and shine, Ray. Rise and shine. Yes, hello, darling. Welcome, everyone. Karen says I have you sitting in my windowsill while I do dishes. Lovely. Spoken myself out this morning, figuratively speaking. Hello, everyone. Come on in. Hello, hello. I still want to say good morning. My brain is like, it's old habits really die hard. It's hard not to. I'll stick with what Jessica says. Happy hump day, everybody. Love that. Hello, Chantal. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Summer. Hi, Daniel Jackson. Hi, Ray. Hi, Amma. Hi, Erin. Hi, Kendrika. Bradley. Hello, Bradley. Rise and shine, Michelle. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. How is everyone? Bradley says, what did I miss? Lots of things, Bradley. You've been absent. We've noticed. Your absence has been noted, sir. Don't forget to say smile, sharing my inner light everywhere. Oh, I like that, Erin. Nice. Cool. Thank you very much, Amma. This is Merlinite. One of the oldest pieces I've had, actually. I brought it out to give it some more love. Trevor says, when will I die? I want my life to be over already. Trevor, what's going on? You okay, bud? You going through a rough patch? Life on Earth is very challenging for some, but you've got backup, man. We're here for you. You all right? Hello, hello. What's happening here today? I don't know. I'm just chatting shit so far, Amy. Welcome, Grand Rising, all that jazz. Amma says, Amanda says, are you ready for September? Not really, no. It doesn't even feel like it is September. It feels like it's actually supposed to be like May or something. And where the hell did the summer go? Like, what? So funny. So we had the first Lost Soul Rescue group yesterday, which was really great fun. For those of you who might not have seen it, might not have seen my post, if you go on to Astara into the membership replays, which I'll show you guys real quick. So if you go onto the Mighty Network, and then you go to membership replays, which is over on the side, you're going to see all these old recordings we've got up here, which is there's some Andy and Chen stuff here, etc. If you shrink that, you should see the, here we go. The Lost Soul Rescue one. It's the third one down. See it? So if you guys want to watch the recording of what we did yesterday, you guys can check it out. It was my wonderful friend Katie Jordan led the first Lost Soul Rescue group. And we had some lost souls that we did have to cross over. A couple were already crossed over. A couple were reluctant to cross over, but we did end up convincing them to cross. So you guys could check it out and let us know what you think. Please leave some comments below. Just some opinion on how you guys are feeling watching it. For those of you, and that missing guy. Did you watch the recording, Michelle? Is that what you were talking about? Because we did do a clearing, we did do a check, sorry, on a missing person. And unfortunately, the one that we did we did do a check on a missing person. This was a man named Daniel Robinson that went missing in Arizona. He was actually a geologist. And he went missing out in the desert somewhere. And he was very avid outdoorsman, very well prepared, knows his stuff. So people were very shocked that he disappeared. And he disappeared without a trace. Like the only thing they found was his clothing, like folded up neatly and set aside somewhere. I'm not sure if they found his cell phone or not, but I imagine that that was where they ramped up the search for him. Yes. And it's interesting that your name is also Robinson, Rachel. It's near where you live too. That's really interesting. So we were unable to kind of find him when we did a scan on him. And we believe that he might have been in another dimension. So I went back last night and checked with a different medium just to go ahead and kind of check things out and see if there's any other insight the other medium could come up with. And she actually went into a trance and her guide came forward, and it was her guide that did end up finding Daniel. He was taken underground and he did not come surface side. We'll put it that way. He was he was torn limb from limb, they told us. He got snacked on. So yeah, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to find any trace of him. This is what happens sometimes in these areas where they have a lot of ET bases and a lot of tunnels underground and all kinds of stuff. So unfortunately, yeah, he's not going to be found, unfortunately. But we did end up helping him cross over. We returned his soul fragments for him. We helped him. He's actually in a very happy place right now. He's all right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a Lizzie that got him. They're underground, you guys. I've been telling you. They come up here with their astral bodies to come and mess with us. But if you go down in their domain, you don't run into the astral bodies, if you catch my drift. So, yeah. This is why national parks are no joke. And sometimes this is what happens to people that get lost in national parks. But I'm taking solace in the fact that we did help him cross over and that he's all right now. He was a starseed like one of us. So it's very sad to find out that, yeah, that these things can happen to one of us or any of us, really. But yep, this is why we say national parks you don't want to go off the beaten path in the national parks, you guys. A lot of the national parks are national parks for a reason, because they don't want us digging below them, so to speak. So they will never allow us to build a city with things like rail lines underground and sewer systems and all that, because as soon as you start digging in some of those national parks, you find things. So yeah, this is, I mean, like I said, when you search for missing persons, generally this is what happens. You know, there's some nefarious things that have happened and as to why they didn't come back. So a lot of them are ET abductions, Jessica. As Jessica's saying, a lot of people do end up disappearing. And yep, a lot of them are ET abductions. But this is part of this is the deal that Eisenhower made. Eisenhower himself actually made a deal with some of these beings that they are allowed to take a certain amount of people every year. And they do. Who are we talking about? Susan said, you must have joined a bit late. We did a missing persons checked on a man named Daniel Robinson. If you guys Google him, you'll see him. Disappeared in Arizona. But like I said, this is not easy work, you guys. This is stuff that is quite upsetting. So it is what it is though. We live in a very complicated planet with all kinds of issues that can arise if you end up in the wrong place in the wrong time. But what's ironic is that it was not the wrong place or the wrong time for him. We actually confirmed with his higher self that he agreed to go out that way. Why he chose to go out that way, we don't know. It could be that he was basically bait and they were looking to see where he went and to keep an eye on things. Who knows? But we do know that he agreed to it as part of his way of this leaving. So it's not like this is one of those situations where his free will was compromised and it wasn't what he had planned. This actually was something that he had planned. So sometimes that does kind of give you a little bit of solace. Did Laura Eisenhower get her work back? I'm not sure. Not entirely sure. So anyway, for those of you who did not catch the Lost Soul recording yesterday from the clearings we did, make sure you check it out because it's interesting. We're going to be doing these weekly, hopefully. That is the plan anyway. So the next one might be next Tuesday. We are probably going to be doing a couple of those a week, though, considering how many people are interested and how much work we have to do with crossing over spirits, because there's a lot of people that have yet to cross over. So anyway, Susan says, I'm really interested in the national park disappearances. They're always super weird. Yeah, that's why. Yep, that is why. Lots of faces underneath those national parks. And also keep in mind, there's a lot of Bigfoots there, too. And as the Tay-Gettons have said, the Bigfoots, they do eat people on occasion. So not to say all of them do, but they're opportunists. They eat what they got to eat. Anybody watch the series Grimm on Netflix, on the Peacock Network? Is that the old Grimm or is that a new one? I watched the old one. Michelle. It's really funny too, because you can't hide things. Like when you're feeling down and you go to do clearings, the soul guides look at you like, what's the matter? I am a little bit of a mood. Yesterday after doing clearings, it was really weird too. I was going to take Aiden out for tacos. That was my plan after clearings. And for some reason, I felt this wave of exhaustion hit me. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just take a quick little nap. I woke up 2.5 hours later and it was like almost 7 o'clock. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what? And I had a really great night's sleep the night before. So I was wondering why I needed a 2.5 hour nap, especially one that hit me so quickly. I went and did more clearings after I got back from dinner. I found an implant in my gut. And I was like, what? So I asked the guy and I said, how long has it been there? And they said, just a few hours. And I said, so was it placed in there when I had my nap? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, who put it there? And they said, ETs. And I was like, what? Wait a minute. So while I was napping, I had an ET come in and mess with my etheric and put something in my gut. They're like, yeah, you did. I was like, well, what? First of all, where were my guides? What the hell? And two, which ones was it? And they're like, well, it doesn't really matter which one. We told them they're not going to do it again. We'll stop it from happening again. And I was like, apparently I was on their radar. And I asked, why am I on their radar? And they laughed and they said, well, you're actually on a lot of radars right now, Laura. And I was like, oh, great. Thank you. And they're like, don't get nervous. I'm like, I'm not nervous. I'm pissed off. Like, they need to leave me the fuck alone. So I don't know who put it there or what, but I'm honestly a little bit kind of pissy about it still, even now. So that's what you're picking up on, Michelle. I'm a bit miffed this morning. Oh, I can't hide things from you guys. That's why I don't even bother trying, really. But it was funny how the guides were like, yeah, you're on the radar. You're on a lot of radars. I was like, what? It was a tracking chip they put in me too. And I'm like, what? I'm like, don't they know that I'm going to have it removed within an hour or two anyway? And the guy was like, yeah, these guys are amateurs. Basically, it was kind of the vibe. Like, yeah, they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't think about that. So yeah, this is one of the perks of being SRT is the fact that I get like several clearings a day now. Not that I think you guys are anywhere near as exposed as I am on here. But yeah, that's why I think I'm on radars. But like I said, I've been on lists for a very long time. I've been on like, Cabal watch list for about 20 years now. So go ahead, mess with me all you like, you fuckers. I'm used to it. In fact, the guides were laughing about it. They're like, yeah, that's why we told you. We just figured you would brush it off. And I did. I'm like, yeah, I'm used to it now. Before, I would have been like, how dare they? Now I'm like, oh, of course they did. So, yep, it is what it is. But it's nice to know that the aliens are having so much amusement in watching everything we do down here. They're always observing. There's probably one listening to my voice as we speak. Ugh. So, yeah, it's an interesting planet we're on, you guys. Never a dull moment, especially if you're really paying attention. Wow, there's 114 of you listening to me right now saying that too. That's funny. Hi, everybody. I didn't realize there's so many people watching today. So anyway, me and my rambling. What do you guys want to talk about? Any questions or anything going on? Just for the record, this is going to be my last podcast for a few days because I am also taking some time off. I will be off until Tuesday. My parents have rented a house up in Lake George area of New York, so I'm going up there with the whole family to go and spend some time with the usual suspects. Michelle says, I love solo chit chats. Oh, I love you, Michelle. By the way, you guys, Michelle has a discount on her Organite today. Michelle is offering her wonderful Organite pieces for 25% off. So if you guys would like some new Organite, I recommend going and checking out. Will you tag your page, Michelle? Please I would appreciate you doing so, darling. So yeah, get you guys some new Organite today from Michelle. And I'm happy to support all of you guys. If you guys start making Organite, I'm happy to share it around for you guys. We need to start getting our work out there. Andrew says it's a coincidence that people copied my behaviors and talking and thoughts from every 2 weeks ago to 2 weeks later. Keep in mind, Andrew, that we are a collective. This is why whenever somebody comes up with a really great idea and they're like, this is a unique idea. And then the next thing you know, they go out and they look around and they're like, shit, somebody else came up with the same unique idea around the same time. That's why, because we all get similar downloads. I shouldn't say we all do, but many of us get similar downloads around the same time. There's Michelle's Organite. Boop, boop. I'm not even going to highlight it for you, Michelle. There it is. Let's show Michelle some love today, you guys. I got some wonderful pieces from her. Check out this beautiful little Organite pyramid I got. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that lovely? Michelle makes lovely pieces, so make sure that you guys go and support her because she's wonderful. I really like that octopus. If nobody buys that octopus, Michelle, I might get that. Actually, I really love that octopus you made. Although I want one made with that mold I tagged you with. I also feel my spirit guides have left me hanging, AJ says. What makes you think that, AJ? Can I, if you don't mind me asking? Just reading through the comments. Are you scheduling clearings? I need one. Yes. My wait time right now for clearings is a little over a week and a half. Which is getting shorter because I have 3 mediums to work with. So I'm getting through my clearings very, very quickly. So if you guys would like a clearing, by all means, go ahead and book one. It's not going to take me very long to get to you. Just reading through the comments. Ray says, the universe gives you ideas, and if you don't act on them, then they'll go to someone else. You snooze, you lose. I totally feel that, Ray. I absolutely believe that's true. This is one of the reasons people like Tesla didn't give a shit if somebody else was using their ideas. They're like, good, as long as they're doing good things with it, I don't care. And that is, the selfless attitude I feel humanity truly needs right now. I'm gonna have to check her out. Getting a copper cup first. I have an amazing Organite piece at home. Nice one, Brittany. Everybody should have some Organite at home. Even if it's like little pieces, like some of these really cool. I love these little pieces that Michelle makes also, because she also has these little molds. I have them all next to me, Michelle. I put in like a little grid around me while I'm doing clearings. So we've got little ones like these. And they don't seem very big, but they actually do pack a powerful punch when you have a bunch of them around you. You can actually kind of make a little grid around you. So one of the best things to do is to make a grid around your bed and stuff too. So put them around your bed to help make sure you're not fucked with while you're sleeping. Put one in the four corners. If I haven't acted on it yet, but it's still in my heart, does that mean it's still mine to pursue? Absolutely, Aaron. Anything that is in your mindset, if you want to pursue it, you are more than welcome. That's why it's probably in your mindset in the first place. Aiden has a fish as well that Michelle made. It's upstairs next to his bed. He loves it. His little fishy Michelle made. I love the octopus though, even more. That octopus is so cool. And one of her pendulums. I also have one of her pendulums. Where is that? Pretty sure I bring it with me everywhere. Yeah, I do. I've been bringing her pendulum with me all sorts of places. That's why I have it all wrapped up in my crystals right now in my bag when I was away. So yeah, Michelle makes these great little pendulums and stuff too, as you can see. See, great little Organite pendulum. This one's got Lapis. I've got a real thing for Lapis lately. After Svatu said it was one of her favorites, I went and bought a couple pieces last week at the crystal show. Actually, I'm going to put them on right now. So Lapis is really good for when you're trying to expand your consciousness, trying to get more downloads and raise your vibe. Something actually pulled my leg hard. I was calm and acted like it didn't happen. Well, Karen, whenever something is pulling on your leg, like literally that's somebody trying to get your attention. Usually that's an earthbound. Earthbounds don't like being ignored. And if they feel they're getting ignored, sometimes they do start to, act out. But as Michelle says, keeping up with the spiritual hygiene is real. Absolutely. My mom's been MIA, and I'm sure she has attachments, and our extended daughter really deals with a lot of mental health issues and is very low vibes a lot of the time. What better way to parent 9 children than from a place of sovereignty? Wow, Brittany. Sorry to hear that. There's a lot going on, especially people right now that have been dealing with these things for quite a while. Things are almost like getting worse, like they're accelerating. And I think it's because of the shift. A lot of people are having very difficult time right now for that reason. I remember I lost my small lapis for over a week and was sad. And one day at work, I see it sitting on top of a cabinet that I had never interacted with. Oh, it's nice that you found it. Is anyone seeing more things out of the corner of their eyes? I see black spots or blue or light spots, and when I turn to look, it's gone. Yeah, anything that you see in your peripheral that is kind of like out of phase a little bit with yeah, that's definitely something astral. Keep in mind, the astral is another layer that exists upon our reality. So they can see us, kind of like one of those police mirrors that you guys see in like the TV shows and stuff, where you end up seeing like you can see through, but they can't see you, like that. So that mirror, that veil is getting thinner and thinner. So it's making it easier for us to see them finally. So, yes, absolutely. Sight is the last one to kick in. You guys are going to be able to smell them. You're going to be able to sense them. You're going to be able to feel them. A lot of you, like, for example, I'm getting a lot of messages from people about astral parasites. That's actually one of the most common things that people are actually booking clearings for right now is the astral parasites because they can feel them. They literally feel them on their skin. And they feel like itchy and scratchy because of it. And it's got like this skin crawling sensation where you just feel kind of like there's something there. there is something there, and that's why you can feel it. So being able to feel these things, even smell these things, is going to be happening first in a way, because like I said, sight's the last thing to kick in. Can we ask Chen about the black cube next time, please? Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about the physical one or the space one? Are we talking about the one that is sacred in Islam, or are we talking about the other cube, the one they were talking about in space? Because there's all kinds of different cubes. You can actually do a test to see how powerful Organite is. Do the water test. Put water in a clear cup in the freezer with the Organite on top of the cup, and it should freeze with a visible vortex in the middle of the frozen ice. I've never seen that test before, Jordan. That's really interesting. Marie says, Laura, do you still have the same timeline with the November blackouts from the spirit guides? Yes. Yes, we do have the same. If you guys remember what happened in Butler, PA, don't want to say much more than that. That was also part of that timeline. So yes, we are still full steam ahead for that. A lot of people are exiting as well. Yes, I have noticed that. Yep, a lot of people are leaving right now. Ray says, my friend Shelly took her own life last year. Do you know she's okay? You would have to send us her info. For those of you who would like us to check on someone that had a traumatic death, we don't want to just check on people that have like Nana that passed away peacefully in her sleep. Usually those people are fine. It's the people that die traumatic deaths are the ones that we are looking to assist with lost soul rescue. So if somebody has died either by murder, suicide, gone missing, those sort of things, died under a drug overdose, even accidents, fires, that sort of thing, we are happy to assist. So you can message me privately with the full name of the person who to be checked on, their last known location, and perhaps their age or date of birth to make sure that we know we got the right one. You guys will see that it's interesting. Like, for example, yesterday we were doing the Lost Soul Rescue. If you guys go and watch the recording, you can see what happened. One of the interesting cases was how they don't cross over immediately and some do. So you can kind of see the difference. Although I did do 2 private Lost Soul rescues yesterday. I sent reports out for those. So if you were the one that booked it, you can go and check your email and you'll see. If you book a private one with me, an earthbound check, like if you go to astrolaura.com and book an earthbound check, I do that privately. Okay. I'm not going to air the recording. So if you would like me to, you can message me privately and say, hey, I would like to see the recording, and you can book the earthbound check and I will do it publicly then. But anybody that books a private earthbound check, I do not do it publicly. I'm doing that as a report and I send it out. But like I said, if you guys would like me to check your loved ones, I am happy to do so. If it's like I said, if it's somebody that's died traumatically, I'm happy to even check them for free. You just have to message me with their info so we can check them. But just be aware that people will be able to see it in the recording, because we are airing these so people can see this work that we're doing. I want people to be able to see these mediums in action. So yeah, send us details and we're happy to help. It was really cute, though, I will say, yesterday in one of the earthbound checks that we did, somebody wanted to check their mother who passed away quite some time ago, to make sure that she crossed over properly. And she not only crossed over properly, but she's a 3-year-old now. She's actually reincarnated. So not only was I able to track her from crossing over, but we were actually able to track her new incarnation. And we were able to validate that she is actually 3 years old now, and she doesn't live far away from where she passed away. So isn't that kind of cute that we can actually also check and see like where they are and how they're doing now? Which was really sweet. That actually was really lovely. So nice to see you, by the way, Danielle. Sending you lots of love, hun. Oak just said, I wanted to say thank you for everything you do. I understand the need to take a few days off, and I'm glad you did, but I missed you in the group. Aw. You guys are making me I'm actually leaving tomorrow too. I'm going on another holiday for a few days. Sorry to do this to you guys. But yeah, I'm going away. I've got quite a bit of time away actually. I'm going away. I'm gonna be off here tomorrow and Friday and Monday because my mom doesn't book things very well. My mom just went and booked whatever. So I'm like, geez, mom, you're making me miss so many days. So yeah, I will be back Tuesday to see you guys next week. But I will be around. I have to go and hang out with my muggle family. But then we're also going to France for a little while, but I'm going to be doing lives while we're in France. We'll be keeping you guys updated on our little Mary Magdalene tour that we're doing. So we'll keep you guys included in that as much as possible. Aiden goes back to school in 2 weeks, September 3rd. A little less than 2 weeks. I'm very excited about it. As much as I love him to pieces, he needs to get off my couch. He's always, because I'm always in here working. When I'm working, he's in there playing on his little computer. And yeah, we need to nip that in the bud immediately. He's not even going to see his tablet for like the next 5 days while we're in the Adirondacks. Aaron says, I can find it for you. Just need name and state you was born. I have ancestry. Good stuff. Yeah, like I said, we just need those details and we're good. Yours went back today, huh? Cool. They've been in school for the last 2 weeks. No way. This is the longest Aiden, I think, has ever had in holiday. He was off May 30th. May 30th to September 3rd. That's 3 whole months. That is wild. Still can't believe that. I think I missed a couple comments. I'm going to scroll up a little. Can dark patches be in our stomach and gut area? Solar plexus. I think I saw some on me. Yes, Amma. Dark patches can be anywhere. Dark patches are simply concentrations of negative energy that are found within the body. Normally, we find astral parasites like all over the dark patches, like you see the parasites on top of them. So they're drawn to those areas of negative energy that's all concentrated in certain spots. Like, for example, there was a couple recently that I cleared. And you know, it's interesting. The husband had dark patches in the mouth and the throat, you know, because he was saying negative things. And the wife had dark patches in the ear because she was hearing the negative things. So isn't that interesting how these things can actually manifest physically? Like if somebody actually yells at you and gives you shit and makes you feel awful, they are creating a concentration of negative energy in the part of you that was affected by that energy. So just be aware of this, how much we can actually influence other people's energy fields. This is why your protection is also so important too. We're not just talking about for the sake of entities and earthbounds and all of those other things that exist around us. We're also saying it for the fact of other humans can end up giving us their funky energy. You'd be surprised, especially, you know who has the funkiest energy? Out of all the people that I've noticed, chronic people pleasers tend to have the most dark patches. Isn't that interesting? And people that live with narcissists. I don't want to forget those guys. Those guys are definitely dealing with some dark patches. But isn't that interesting that chronic people pleasers end up having so many dark patches? You know why? Can you guys guess why they have so many? Because they absorb the negative energy from others while they're taking on all of that stuff. So when you hear people venting, when they're quite literally emo dumping on you, guess what they're dumping? Yep. So just be aware of that. This is one of the reasons why that people need to clear things and to release those things. And whenever you have a conversation with somebody and you feel exhausted afterward, that is part of it. Yep. So you need to set your boundaries. That's the one thing the guides always recommend for chronic people pleasers is setting boundaries, knowing when your energy is being drained and saying nope and cutting that cord. Because it happens a lot, especially with starseeds. Starseeds are here to help people. We've got this attitude is that I'm here to help. I want to be useful. I want to be, I'm here to work. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, come on over then. I got work for you. You can do this and that and this and that for me. Oh, that'll be great. So it's really all down to setting boundaries, knowing your limits, and setting those limits and sticking to them. Making sure that when your cup starts going down, when you start getting depleted, you say, "Nope." Chantel says, "My savior days are over." Yeah, well, being a savior will burn you out. I'm not saying it's not good to go ahead and be a white knight on occasion because wow, some people they really need it. And sometimes we are in a position where we are meant to help, but this is why I say use discernment. You should feel very good about helping somebody. And if you don't feel very good about it, then it's not something you should be doing. So I got so exhausted after dealing with some people that I will just start falling asleep randomly. See, Jordan, this is another one. Especially when you start falling asleep randomly like that, that is a huge sign of being burned out, exhausted, burning the candle on both ends, so to speak. Yep. And so many of us do this with our work, let alone family and friends and all the other people around us, neighbors, etc. So, this is why it's very important to set boundaries. This is one of the most crucial lessons for any starseed down here doing this work. Because a lot of us come down here with that white knight savior complex. I had one in spades. Like that white knight complex has been a thing for me my whole life. As I've probably told you guys a few times, on my 16th birthday, I went and joined the fire department. Out of all the things, my friends were all saving up for cars, going out looking for boys, wanting to have a ride to the mall. And I'm like, can I join the fire department and go fight fires and rescue people? And they're like, what? Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. But that's kind of like the starseed mentality. We come down here and we're like, woohoo, I'm here to help. Da, da, da. And unfortunately, yeah, you end up being very easily deflated with that attitude sometimes because it's so much to do down here. There's never going to be an end to it, the amount of homework shit to do down here. So handle what you can. Don't burn yourself out. Hi Grant, nice to see you, bud. Is this pox another last-ditch effort by the cabal to keep the vibration low? Of course it is. This is the tug of war match that we're in right now with the cabal. Is we are trying our very best to raise the vibration and they're doing their very best to lower the vibration. So we're constantly doing this with them. And that's why it's one of the reasons why you guys got to make sure your cup is kept full for this work. And also keep in mind, like, not to be discouraged either, because sometimes you will notice, like, things are going in their favor, and then things go in our favor, and then things go in their favor, and then things go in our favor. So really, it's just a big fucking game that we're playing, you know? I'm really glad you guys are on my team, just for the record. We need more people on this team than ever before. Yep. It is a dance, exactly, Jessica. Dancing with the cabal. Just reading through the comments. I feel so drained a lot. So many energy vampires around me. Well, Michelle, make sure that you are doing your protections every morning and make sure that you are doing your protections at night too. Make sure that you have your cleansings around you. Make sure you have protection around you. You should not be getting drained. If you are drained, you're not doing something. Because an empowered starseed can go into a whole concert of people and be perfectly fine and not feel any drained or at all because they have their protections in place, because they're well grounded. So if you have your grounding and protection in place and then you practice your spiritual hygiene, you're fine. You can go out into crowds and not be drained. But not learning how to lock down your shit, that is why you get tired, because they're just, yeah, taking it. We are in the midst of World War III, proxy wars. Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. Unless your boots on the ground, you're not really paying attention. You don't see it. But those of us that are, you can absolutely see it. So is there anything else you guys wanted? Any questions you guys would like me to answer today? Remember that grounding is also really important. Walking around outside with your bare feet, because a lot of our shoes are preventing grounding. This is why they give us rubber shoes and plastic shoes and shit. There's actually shoes that are designed for grounding. In fact, I think I might even get a pair. Claire says, do you use dragons and the violet flame, Lara, for protection? I use all kinds of different things depending on the day and the mood that I'm in. If I'm in a dragon mood, I absolutely do call in dragons. And I've been told I have one. I just don't know what color it is. I think it's green. I don't know why. My intuition is saying it's green, like an earth dragon. I do have one though. I just don't call it in very often because it's like the big guns, you know? It's like flying a bazooka. Normally, if I call in my guides, I feel immediately that they come. Especially there's a couple guides. It's really funny. I went to Atlantic City the other day with friends, and we went out of the town, had a bit of fun. And afterward, I was doing clearings and I asked to be cleared, and they were like, "Yeah, we saw all of it." I was like, "What?" They're like, "Oh yeah, we saw." And they even recited some of the things they saw, and I laughed my butt off. I was like, "You guys see everything, don't you?" They're like, "Yes, we do." So just be aware, like the guides literally see everything. And I think it's so funny too of how they don't bother hiding it either. They're like, "Yep." So yeah, it is funny how many of us are actually here to work, and we're like I said, anytime I feel like I need my guides, all I have to do is say, "Hey guides, hey, who's here?" And I've got it covered. So be aware, like you guys can also call in your guides. You can call in Chen, you can call in all kinds of stuff for your protection. You can also manifest your own avatars for your protection too. Like I've been teaching Aiden to manifest. He's got a thing about caracals. He loves them. They're South African lynx. The South African, they're they're basically furry razor blades. They're most beautiful cats, but they're not very sweet. And I was laughing with Aiden, and I said, "What kind of protector would you like?" And he chose to manifest a caracal in the astral. So he has a little astral caracal that follows him around everywhere he goes, protecting him. So you guys can teach your children this as well. Like if there's a certain animal that, yes, murder kittens. Yes, exactly. Murder mittens. So funny. So yeah, that is what Aiden's guardian now is in the astral, is a little caracal. I even got him a little caracal stuffy to go with it. So he carries his little caracal around with him everywhere he goes. It's adorable. So yeah, make sure that you guys are, you can manifest these things for yourselves. You can manifest something like a tiger or a lion that protects you while you're sleeping or while you're napping. Maybe I need one of those. Clearly my turret didn't work. The violet flame, though, is very powerful for cleansing. So if you guys do visualize the violet flame around you, it does tend to clear a lot of negative stuff around you. And don't just visualize it around yourself, your house, too. Your house can burn out all that shit, too. So if you feel like there's been somebody that's come in your house that you want to clear the energy of, you can absolutely do that with your visualization. Do you run into any mediums that have an angelic spirit guide? Yes. Yep. Absolutely. There's a couple. You'd be surprised how many people actually have angelic guides. Quite a lot of them do, especially if they're doing this kind of work. Yeah, quite a few of them do. Although, as I was saying the other day, I think there's quite a difference. You can feel the difference in them. Like when you hear Elaine, by the way, I was having a wonderful chat with Elaine Thorpe this morning. Elaine's going to be coming on the podcast when I get back. If you guys remember Elaine's guy, Jonathan, when Elaine speaks, Jonathan comes through and it's a very masculine voice. It's like immediate notice that it's not Elaine talking anymore. But what's interesting is that when Elaine talks, you also hear another voice come through on occasion named Genevieve. Genevieve is an angel. She's angelic. So you guys have already heard an angel here on the podcast, technically. So yeah, Genevieve is an angel. There's a lot of them out here. You'd be surprised. And you know what's interesting? The more we raise the vibration of the space, the more angel guides come through. So there are more and more of them happening. How far booked out are you when I book my I'm about 7 to 10 days right now, but I'm going to be taking some days off, but I will not be taking days off from clearings, just for the record. I will not be coming on the podcast, but I am still doing clearings because clearings are fun for me. It is not work. I do not need to take a break from doing clearings. In fact, I miss doing it when I'm not doing clearings. So yeah, I will definitely be keeping up with those even while I'm away on my little holiday. Because like I said, this is fun for me. So you guys will get to hear Genevieve and Jonathan probably again on the podcast sometime soon. I love Elaine. Elaine's energy is incredible. And you know who else has agreed to come on my podcast? Blair Styra will be coming on my podcast next week. In fact, I'm doing a special event. I haven't even made a post about this yet. On Saturday, I believe September 2nd, is the date that Blair Styra, for those of you who are not aware, Blair Styra is very good friends with Dolores Cannon. In fact, Blair and Dolores traveled around together for 10 years doing in-person retreats and speaking events, etc. So Dolores and Blair were like this, and Blair and I have become very good friends. I've actually met with him several times, and his soul guide, his name is Tabash. Tabash, if you guys go and Google Tabash, it's Tabaash. There's all kinds of videos up on YouTube of Tabash. He's lovely. He is one of my favorite soul guides to have a conversation with. So I'm very excited. I'll get to be able to introduce you to Tabash, and we'll be able to probably even hear from Dolores herself on Saturday the 2nd. That'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern time because he's in New Zealand and his hours are quite different to ours. In fact, I think it's like 3 a.m. this time right now in New Zealand or something. So yeah, we're going to have to make it a special event podcast for that Saturday so that way you guys can check it out. But it'll be really nice to hear from him. In fact, if it hadn't been for Tabash, I would not probably have had this podcast, nor would I have had the confidence to do this SRT stuff. So it was Tabash that really helped me get things moving, if you know what I mean. So I'm very excited to introduce you guys to him. He's lovely. How are Angelica and Siddhartha? They're doing well. Angelica's been a little under the weather, but she's getting better. So we will be seeing them shortly soon too, hopefully. So send our love to Angelica because we do miss her. Jessica says, can you talk about imposter soul guides? Yes, absolutely. So imposter soul guides. Hi, Donna. It was the 2nd of September. So imposter soul guides are essentially entities that have worked their way into your subconscious in a way. When we normally clear people of an attachment, it's kind of like they have somebody that's tricked their way in, right? And that they're easier to remove that way because we're like, no, you don't have permission to be here. Get the hell out. But when you have an imposter soul guide, it's like you allowed the imposter to come in. You moved them into your vessel as like a roommate. It's like they tricked you. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm a good guy. Come on, let me in. So you're like, oh, okay, cool. Come on in, good guy. And then you let them in. And then sure enough, they kick out your other guides because they're not a good guy. They were lying. And then they push your original soul guides out of the way so that they cannot influence you. So what's interesting is a couple times I've asked, do I have permission to clear this client today? And the soul guides will say, yes, they're waiting for you. And whenever I hear they're waiting for you, I thought, okay, there's either a big beastie that's there that has cut off the soul guides completely from their ward or whatever you want to call it, from their vessel, or there's an imposter. Because the imposters they cut you off from your own guides. They will basically be like, you're fired, get out, and throw your own guides out. So the problem with that is that the guides then they don't have access to you. They're not able to really get messages through as easily. You know, it's kind of like they have to sneak messages to you rather than being able to just speak with you overtly. So when we do go and do a clearing and we find out that there is an imposter soul guide, we immediately kick them out. How can you tell if it's an imposter guide? We the mediums do not know. It is the actual soul guides themselves that can validate whether or not they're from the light. So if they carry a low vibration, that they're obvious because the imposters, they do not have an actual normal vibration of a soul guide. It's basically usually a demon or an ET. Sometimes at the level 1, like with those elementals, as I was telling you guys about, but most of the time, yeah, it's something more formidable, like a demon or an ET that is tricking its way into your mindset. And some of them have been there for a very long time. I cleared somebody a couple weeks ago that had an imposter soul guide for 10 years. And this imposter soul guide was a real bastard too, let me tell you, because this person is a medium. and they lied to them for 10 years. And they thought all the advice they had been getting for 10 years, including telling them to leave their spouse and that they've got a twin flame and all of these things. Yep. 10 years this person did it. So bless her, man, to be able to get through that, to have an imposter for that long. And they will try to ruin your life. That is what they do. So unfortunately, like when things are not going very well for a very long time and you feel like your guides are really shitty soul guides and you're like, you guys suck at this, there might be a reason for that. They might not actually be authentic soul guides. So this is the problem. And this is why that's the very first thing we do is when we go to check a client, we ask if their guides are from the highest of light. And we validate whether or not they are legit guides or whether or not they're imposters. Because unfortunately, especially when it comes to starseeds and light workers, they love us because they see us doing the work. They see what we're doing and they're like, oh, no, we're going to stop that. So that's what they do. They come in and they will basically act like they're helping you to your highest good, but they're not actually. They're trying to grind you into the dirt, so to speak, so they can keep feeding off of you. That's essentially what these entities are for. They just want food. You're a snack. So if you would like a clearing, like I said, I only have about a week or 10 days ahead of clearing. So, or you can book an emergency. I'll share my website. I see some of you asking. It's astrallara.com. And if you guys scroll down through my sessions, you can read all about what I clear and how I clear it and all of those things. We work with mediums to actually clear it. So, yeah. So if your life is in shambles and you feel like there's somebody that's sabotaging you in ways you cannot explain, it might be a good idea to have one of these checks. Just saying. I have had an imposter soul guide myself. I got tricked. As some of you who have been following me for a very long time knows, that was one of the most painful things I have been through yet since I went through my awakening. And they're real sons of bitches. Having an imposter soul guide will cause problems like you have never seen before. And unfortunately, this is why so many starseeds and light workers end up off the beaten path, so to speak, why so many of them end up confused and lost. And yeah, because they are quite literally being sabotaged. So, interested in knowing how to do this. I have a pendulum, was instantly drawn to it, but had little knowledge, brought along with tarot that I have learned. Appreciate any info. Grateful. You can do muscle testing. You can ask if you're sovereign. One of the best ways to do so is you can ask with a pendulum. I like to do it with muscle testing personally. So if you stand up, you can even stand up right now as I'm explaining this. And then you say something like, show me a yes. Your body should generally move forward, right? Where you start going like this. If you say to your body, show me a no, your body should start to push you backwards like that, okay? And so if you are trying to test certain things, like let's say you have certain things that you want to test if it's good for your body or not. Just trying to untangle my pendulum. You can ask things like, show me a yes, show me a no. Like with the pendulum, you say, show me a yes. You see, it should generally start swinging like that in a circle, okay? When you say, show me a no, see? Generally starts moving back and forth. See, Michelle's pendulums are great, aren't they? So, so when you say show me a no, you can ask other questions like, am I currently sovereign? Yep, I am indeed. And I can feel I'm sovereign. After you've been sovereign for a while, you know when you're not. When I woke up from that nap yesterday, funnily enough, I knew I was sovereign, but I also knew that there was something wrong. So funnily enough, I sensed that implant that they put in while I was sleeping. So this is why I say you have to trust yourself too. One of the biggest issues with mediums, and all of us are mediums for the record, one of the biggest things that we have to combat is self-doubt. Self-doubt is probably the largest thing we have to combat. Our confidence needs to be high in order for us to trust ourselves with this work. And how you build your confidence, ironically, is sometimes through muscle testing or pendulum use. But this is why, yes, Jessica says each pendulum may have their own way of determining. It's actually you. You are the pendulum, for the record. So some of you may notice that your pendulums move in a certain way versus a different way. This is why we always say, show me a yes and show me a no first. And you can always ask it questions like something you know the answer to, like, is my first name Laura? Yep. And it starts swinging. So you can ask general questions just to kind of test it, to get it feeling for it. But you know what's funny is my guides actually told me not to use a pendulum. They said that this makes it may be good for validation's sake, but it's actually funny how it makes you weaker. It's kind of like learning how to walk with crutches. You should be working on your own confidence and validation through through feeling, not through visualization. Or at least on a pendulum anyway. So my own guides were like, don't use the pendulum unless you really feel you have to. Or perhaps start with the pendulum and then on occasion just start letting it go and be like, all right, I'm gonna try it without it. But this is why muscle testing is actually better than using a pendulum, because you're still using yourself. Just reading up through the comments because I missed some of the things while I was rambling. Chantel, to answer your question, I believe that has already been sorted out. So I've been told. I saw your question a few spaces up. Yeah, about that person. I believe that's already been sorted out. That clearing has already taken place. I heard that about tarot cards too. Well, like I said, tarot cards are used for divination. They're a divination tool. And I believe that all divination tools are very powerful, and you just need to learn how to use them the right way. So, I mean, I'm not saying not to use tools. I'm just saying that you are you are a tool. Yeah, you are the person that you are the best tool that you possibly could use just by doing your own intuition. This is what we're all kind of strengthening over time. So any other questions, you guys? While I was just sitting there, I think I'm going to pull a card, actually. Let's see if we can pull a card for the collective before I run off on my little holiday. For the record, we will be doing more Lost Soul Rescue groups for those of you who would like to join us. If you have already taken the A protection class, doesn't matter what psychic protection class, really, as long as you have taken a psychic protection course, you are welcome to join us as either a medium or a facilitator in training. So if you would like to, you can join our group. It's our group. If it's on Facebook, it's called Lost Soul Rescue for more information. You guys are funny. Just reading you all saying, I'm a bunch of tools. Is there a way to kick out an imposter soul guide on your own? It depends. It depends on how much they have deeply rooted into your mindset. That person that had the soul guide, the imposter for 10 years, no, she could not have removed it on her own. In fact, even the soul guides themselves had a bit of an ordeal trying to get it out because it had been deeply rooted so long. The longer they're in, it's like the longer they're in, the more they can control, they run the house, if you know what I mean. So it's harder to get them out. So really it depends on what imposter it is. Some people they can call in their higher self and say, higher self, please clear this imposter from me now, and make that declaration. And if you feel a change, if you feel different, if your thoughts are getting more positive and the negative thoughts go away, all that negative self-talk kind of ceases, then it worked. If it keeps going and you feel no difference, then I would book a clearing. Because they do something that we call muzzling in a way. It's kind of like they cut you off. It's like that, like you can't ask for help if you're cut off from your own team, so to speak. So that's what they do. They quite literally, they come in, they trick you into inviting them in. And once they're in, they throw out your other guides and silence you so you can't really get help. This is one of the reasons why there's such formidable issues. So you could try. You can call in somebody like Chen or even Lord Shiva himself. Absolutely. And ask to be cleared. And you never know. You can always try this first, you guys. In fact, I recommend doing so. And then check your sovereignty again afterwards. Ask 3 times. Am I sovereign? Am I sovereign? Am I sovereign? So if you ask 3 times, then you will have your answer. Just remember to gauge when you're asking your guides if they're from the highest of light 3 times because they can lie. So listen to your gut, listen to your intuition. My mom had her imposter's guide removed and now she's dealing with anxiety. Well, like within the first 2 weeks of getting a clearing, if we've waited a few days and things aren't better and if new issues have arisen, you can message me and we can do a recheck. It's got to be within 2 weeks. And like I said, I'm happy to do another check to see what might be causing the anxiety. But also keep in mind that we do end up developing a sort of Stockholm syndrome. Do you guys know what Stockholm syndrome is? It's kind of like when you end up trusting your captor, where you build a rapport with that person or that being. And so you build trust with that person and you get used to that person's energy. There's been a couple occasions where we will clear an earthbound and people will actually miss their energy, will be sad that the earthbound is gone because they were so used to having them around. This can also happen with imposter soul guides too, because like I said, they're in your mind. They're literally sharing your body with you. And you can get used to that. And a lot of times they end up making all your decisions for you and they end up controlling your life for you. And people get used to that. So when that gets taken away, they're all like, oh shit, you mean I gotta make choices now? You mean I'm in control now? Oh shit. And they start to panic. So that I don't know why, but that is what my intuition is saying is happening right now. But I would need to validate that with a soul guide because as we say, we all doubt ourselves. So that's the first thing I do when I have a download. I'm like, is that real? Was that true? So yeah, it's better to validate these things with the soul guides until you work up your confidence. I'm pretty sure that is the case though. Because sometimes we just get so wrapped up in our attachments that when they're taken away, it's like we feel like we're losing a piece of ourselves, but we're not. We're losing a piece of an imposter or something that was attached to us. Any ideas for grounding someone in a wheelchair? You can ground yourself through visualization. All kinds of different ways. Grounding through, you can carry certain crystals on you that help with grounding. The black or dark crystals tend to be really good for grounding. I also think that one of the best ways is to just be able to just lay down on the earth. You don't have to walk around on the earth. You can lay down and just relax yourself, just laying out in the grass for a few minutes or sitting out in the grass somewhere for a few minutes, soaking up the sun, breathing in the fresh air. It's one of the best ways you can ground yourself. So even if you've got like an elderly person around that can't really go for a walk or anything, sea salt baths are also really good. Yep, they're very grounding. Where do you start if you want to start taking courses? Hi, Tara. Nice to see you, love. Um, well, right now, my two favorite mentors are obviously Jono and Andy. I've learned quite a lot from them. And Jono and Andy are doing their, like, for example, they've got their 21-day class that they're offering. Andy's doing his next protection class, I believe, in October is going to start. But there's all kinds of wonderful mediums out there that are doing protection classes. In fact, I may even start offering one at some point over the fall. I may end up having a class myself about protection. I already have my astral projection and protection class that I do every 2 months, but I am planning on adding to that. And it's funny, I was actually talking with one of the soul guides last night about this. One of my favorite guides. We checked somebody and they had an out-of-body experience. And because of this out-of-body experience, they were attracting entities to them. This is why they were not sovereign, because they had an out-of-body and they didn't realign correctly. So I said something to the guy and I was like, man, I said, I didn't realize how dangerous astral projection could actually be. And the soul guide actually gave me a bit of confidence. He's like, it's not that it's dangerous, it's that if you don't know what you're doing, you put yourself at unnecessary risk. So they actually gave me a little pat on the back. They're like, it's good that you're actually teaching people these things because they want to learn. But a lot of times when they go and learn, they don't hear anything about the protection aspect. So they actually gave me a little applause for that yesterday. And that made me feel really good. Because here I was thinking, oh no, I'm talking people into doing astral projection and this is what happens. But they're like, no, you know what's funny? That person that astral projected was only a few years old too. Isn't that crazy? It was like a 3 or 4-year-old that was out of body. And she'd obviously, being 3 or 4, she doesn't know that she's having astral projection experiences. She's just a very gifted little one. So isn't it interesting that these out of bodies can end up causing so many issues, but not if you know what you're doing. Even the old guides were like, it's okay. Astral projections are totally fine as long as you know what you're doing. Like, it's good to know. So anyway, I'm going to pull a card for the collective really quick. Let's see what's going to, this for the weekend, since I won't be around this weekend. Let's see. And then I'll answer a couple more questions here. Next Thursday is Jono's Gatekeeper class. Yes, that's a good one. Oh, for fuck's sake, you guys. I have pulled this card 4 times in 2 days. Why? What do you want? It's the Page of Swords. This card. This card. You know, you're like, I heard it. I seen it. I got the message. That's the vibe I'm getting right now with So I will just read it and see if this is going to help anybody else, because maybe this is why this card is stalking me right now. Maybe one of you need to hear this. Funnily enough, this is the card of tact. Yeah, I'll hold it up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So the Page of Swords. The lion-maned lock is predominantly made of an open mouth, ever willing to belittle and demean those who attempt to open it. Though there is a keyhole, there is no evidence of a key nearby, preventing others from easily breaking in. A pair of crossed swords signifies upcoming challenges to those striving to hone or develop their intellectual side. The sapphires of sincerity serve as a reminder to have integrity in all things and to focus the mind through self-discipline. Okay. Be mindful of all talk, but no action is coming across. The most efficient use of your energy would be to focus on the task of high priority rather than flitting from idea to idea. Try not to fear the public's opinion if you have something sincere that you wish to share or are holding back. You deserve to be heard. Interesting. It says you may have been unnecessarily defensive or behave unpredictably when others attempt to give you criticism. With the curiosity of a child, the wit of a scholar, and the impeccable sense of justice, you can make for a formidable opponent in the mental arena once you master the art of debate and negotiation. Tact will serve you well. So yes, this is the card of tact. Choosing your battles wisely. So yeah, I'll get this card a lot. You'd be surprised. Choosing battles wisely, something I'm still working on. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to pull one more because I don't want that card to be my only message today. Thank you very much. So let's see. What's going to be the second one? Swear to God. I pulled 2 cards before bed last night. And this is the second one. The first one. What? Isn't it funny how it does that? This is the second card I pulled last night. That is hilarious. The 9 of Wands. I love tarot. It's like, I said what I said. That is freaking hilarious. So I pulled the 9 of Wands and I thought, no. And I put it back and I pulled another card. And that's when I got the Page of Wands. And I was like, no. And I put it back again. And then I went to bed with a huff. And then I pulled the exact same 2 cards again. And then I opened my book exactly directly to the 9 of Wands because of course she did. Oh, tarot is something else, eh? I swear. All right. So yes, this is my last unicorn deck. This is my favorite movie, like as a child. So this deck has got a special place in my heart. So a weeping maid peers at the caged unicorn on display, hands clutched close to her throat. The cold iron bars, anathema to her magic, proved to make the unicorn's prison inescapable. All the unicorn can do. I'm getting choked up reading this. Why? All the unicorn can do is bide her time, unaware that a glowing false horn has been placed upon her so that the carnival patrons can recognize her for who she truly is. There has never been a spell on her before, nor a time that she was not known. This is a significant setback on her journey, but she is sorely tested by it, but she must endure. Though the situation at hand may seem impossible, know that you are more resilient than you give yourself credit for. There is strength inside you yet, and your reward is just around the corner. Every test that you pass only strengthens your resolve. Be assertive in communicating what you need and drawing firm boundaries with others in order to protect yourself. If you stumble, get back up and try again. So, love this card. Beautiful message. Thank you for the message again. So, yeah. I will listen this time. Thank you. But it's a beautiful card, and I really do feel that a lot of us kind of feel like we're unicorns trapped in a cage right now, but they're saying, bide your time. You will be freed at some point in the future. So yeah, that is the plan. I'm just going to bide my time. So I'm glad for those of you who also resonate. That's wonderful. So I love you guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'm going to double check. Let's see what's going on in the star today. Daniela messaged me because she always does. Love you, Daniela. You're so helpful. She understands my ADD brain. Let's see. So Wednesday and a Thursday. Today at 12:15, there will be the free drop-in with Kim Beekman. Make sure that you guys go and hang out with Kim a little bit. Oh, it's 11:11 right now. Love that. So make sure you say hi to Kim Beekman for me. She's going to be on Astara at 12:15 today. This will be a Zoom chat. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., we have the Om Daily Coherence. It's a 28-day challenge with Jacqueline Burke. Make sure you guys don't miss that. And then tomorrow at 12:15 p.m., we also have the free Fusion Yoga with Tara Franklin. So make sure that you guys check it out. And if you haven't already done so, check out the Lost Soul Rescue recording that we did yesterday, because it was a fun job. We enjoyed it immensely. So we're going to be doing more of those Lost Soul Rescues. We plan on doing them at least weekly, so you guys can check them out. Thank you so much, you guys. I love you all. I'm going to miss you guys over the next 5 days, but I will see you all on Tuesday. And who is my guest Tuesday? Do I even know yet? I think I'm going to keep Tuesday solo, actually, so I can see what you guys have been up to. So, and we'll go from there. Sephora is coming on when I come back, by the way. Sephora Krupnik will be back on the podcast. And then, like I said, on the 2nd, we'll be hearing also from Blair Styra and Tabash. I'm so excited about it. So lots of wonderful things in the works. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great day. Bye, guys. Take care. Keep up with your protections and stuff and your cleansings.